How many times have you tried something that you just simply weren't good at? Probably tons of times. We've all been there. And how many of those times were you told, well, it's a skill you could work on. Just keep working harder and harder at it, and eventually you'll be good at it. And maybe you might even enjoy it. You were given that whole spiel damn near every time, right? Well, that's the exact opposite of the approach that you need to start taking for the rest of your life. Focusing on your weaknesses is no way to get ahead in life. In fact, it's a surefire way to slow yourself down and send you backwards instead of moving forward. It's one of the most ridiculous concepts that seems to be a hallmark of one of the steps you need to take in order to get a step closer towards success. But it's simply just not true. You shouldn't be focusing on your weaknesses. You should be focusing on your strengths. Here's why. When you devote time to building up your weaknesses, you are actually losing time that could be spent on improving your strengths. There is no other reason to be building up your weaknesses other than trying to be the most well-rounded achiever like most people are trying to be. Newsflash, you don't have to be good at everything. You just have to be good at something. Instead of trying to be the most well-rounded person you could be who is good at everything, focus on being the best at what you are already good at. The only way you're going to be able to accomplish this is by going all in on your strengths and not even caring about your weaknesses. By going all in on your strengths, you're able to build them up to the point that you're so kick-ass at what you do that your weaknesses will become minimized to the point of irrelevance. Trying to make your weaknesses your strengths is one of the most monumental mistakes you could make. It's what most people do, and it's why most people aren't the best at the things they are doing. People will try to improve their weaknesses thinking that just because they're not good at something, it must mean they have to work on it so they can become better at it. And what ends up happening is that they struggle with it and their progress comes at such a slow pace, and they never get the amazing results that they see people who actually are strong in that subject matter achieving. By focusing on your weaknesses, you don't get the big growth or the big returns that you would by focusing on your strengths. By focusing on your strengths, you're creating more productivity because you're already good at what you do, and you're just going to get better and better at what you're doing by improving upon it. Remember, iron sharpens iron. If you focus on your strengths, you can only get stronger. But if you focus on your weaknesses, you're a lot more likely to get weaker. Think of it this way. A specific player on a football team plays the position he plays because he has the best skill set to be playing that position. A quarterback is a quarterback because he is good at throwing the ball, because he is good at reading the defense, and because he is good at leading his fellow teammates. Those are his strengths, and those are the things he is good at. A quarterback is not going to look at his weaknesses and say, you know what? I need to be a stronger runner like my running back, or I need to be a better blocker like my offensive line. That would make absolutely no sense. Sure, he may not be as good of a runner as his running back or as good of a blocker as his lineman, but he doesn't need to be either of those things. His main job is to throw the ball. That's what he has to be best at, or he wouldn't be quarterback. Just like a running back's main job is to run the ball. So that's what he has to be best at. Or how a receiver's main job is to catch the ball. So that's what he has to be best at. And so on and so forth. I'm sure you're starting to get the picture. There's absolutely no reason for you to have to be good at everything. You just have to be good at something to excel and to be successful. If you were a world-class sprinter, you wouldn't go participating in a long-distance marathon, would you? No, that's not what you're good at. You'd stick to sprints. Stick to what you're good at. This applies to everything in your life. even your body. You're going to have muscles that don't grow as fast as others. You're going to have muscles that don't get as big as others. Instead of neglecting the bigger muscles you build for the smaller muscles that are lacking, stay focused on your strengths and what is growing. When it comes to your body, if you focus on building up your strengths, your weaknesses will become irrelevant, just like with how you'd approach anything else in life. Trust me, those smaller muscles will catch up. I'm not saying to completely neglect them, but understand that you don't need to baby them in order for it to happen either. And don't let your weak areas distract you from appreciating your strong areas. Just because you get more growth out of some muscles than others doesn't detract from the overall result. You'll still have a lean, muscular superhero physique, which is a lot more than most guys have these days. Most guys only have weaknesses that they choose to focus on. Instead of being an average Joe, just like every one of them, focus on your strengths to become a real-life superhero.
If you enjoyed what you just learned in this free secret training video, make sure you join my priority waitlist for my full training course, Zero to Hero, the muscle building blueprint for skinny guys, where you'll learn my 20 skinny killing muscle building secrets for how to fully transform yourself from an average, pathetic zero into a ripped, aesthetic superhero. All you need to do is click the link on your screen, enter your name and your email, and you'll be all set for the next release date. It literally takes just a few seconds. So go ahead and do that right now before we run out of spaces, and I will see you in the next training video.